You guys ask me all the time, do I put mulch on my beds, or I talk about compost, or why do my beds look bare? So today I'm actually mulching my front bed. I don't often love wood mulch, but I am using it on here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why. So I like, anytime I'm going to use a wood mulch, I'm going to use a hardwood, all natural, just wood mulch. I don't want any additives. I don't want that colorant added to it, because that can actually leak chemicals down into the ground. I would like to know that it's just not ground up pallets, because those have chemicals that are treated too. And just like humans, chemicals aren't often good for plants. So I'm laying this down, and I'm only laying it an inch or two thick. I don't want it so extra thick. Anything over 2 inches, it will get matted together. It will get moldy. It will get mildewy. And it will be kind of an infestation and a place for insects and pests to go. Groundhogs or squirrels love it. So if it's a thin layer, it can be very productive. And what a thin layer does is it helps retain moisture in the soil. So that's why I only put wood mulch on a bed that's a little bit more formal and that I'm not going to be working in. This is not my perennial beds where I'm digging up every year, adding perennials, taking out perennials, because then that's just going to mess up the wood mulch and mix it so much in with the dirt, it won't do as much good. On my perennial beds, I put nice rich compost on every year and just add a nice layer of that, because that really feeds the ground, amends the ground, and really helps the perennials that I'm putting down. Compost, the whole idea, and the whole idea with mulch, is that I want this mulch to compost down into the ground. I want these wood pieces that are natural to keep decomposing and then become a compost into the ground. Well, every year if I layer more mulch on top of here and it gets crusty, it's not going to decompose. So I want to keep a thin layer and then just yearly give it a good rake with a hard rake to kind of break it up, freshen it up, and let it decompose. Once it is decomposed, I will add more mulch. What is nice about mulch, it does add a finished look to a bed. So on a front bed like this, where I have set in stone what I'm going to put, I'm not going to be changing it a lot. Wood mulch is the way to go. On a perennial bed, I'm going to add compost. I will say, when I started with this bed, when I first moved in here, I ripped everything out but 2 bushes. And yearly from then on, I just added compost every year, because I really wanted to make sure the soil was a good soil. I really want to make sure I was feeding the soil, feeding the plants I was putting in the soil. And that's why I added compost. So for 5 or 6 years, I've been adding compost to this. And now I think it's worth it to just add some good wood mulch and let that compost into the ground. Wood mulch is also great around trees where you're not going to plant, because it does help retain moisture. And again though, 2 inches, do not mushroom cloud it. So when I'm putting this down, which honestly, spring is probably usually the best. If you have perennials, they're dormant, then they'll come up through the mulch. But I never got to it this year, so I'm doing it now. The important thing to remember, you don't want to suffocate any of your plants, because yes, you can suffocate plants. So on like a boxwood like this or a shrub, you don't want to jam tons of this mulch underneath that shrub. It's going to suffocate and allow for bad air circulation. You only want to have a nice thin layer underneath, pull it away, don't mound it up, and always keep the center up by that stem and that root flare. Keep it clear of any heavy mulch. That way the plant can really breathe and accept water really easily. That's kind of my 2 cents on mulch. I'm going to continue mulching this bed. I'll show you how good it looks, because we all need that finished product to look good. So I'm going to keep mulching, and I'll quick give you an update. So I've gotten all the mulch laid. I blew off the brick here just so it looked a little bit cleaner. And yes, instantly the bed looks better. That is the wonderful thing about mulch. I had just replanted, if you saw my other video, all these perennials in here, so they're still going to look kind of small for this year. The important thing to remember with mulch is, don't lay it too thick. Don't put it up against the root ball of the plant, way up by the root flare. That will suffocate the plant. Keep it only at that 1 to 2 inch layer. It will help retain moisture. It will help suppress weeds. Don't just every year assume you need to put that same amount on, because you want it to decompose into the soil. Otherwise, you're eventually just gonna not help at all and make it worse. So mulch can be really good when you use it in the right way, and it can really benefit you. That's my 2 cents on mulch. Pass it around, give the word. That is my TED Talk to the world, because mulch can be really bad too. okay? It can go either way, so just like us. I'm gonna keep mulching. Tell a friend who needs to see this, tag them in below, give me the comments on what you're thinking, but keep it nice, people. I like the nice comments, you know. And until next time, I'm gonna keep gardening, you should too.